And in this audio, I'm going to talk about Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes was born during the age of interregnum in Civil War, the time when Milton and Galileo was living. And this man was a royalist. That means he defended King Charles I. Remember in the British module I discussed that Charles I was thrown out and then came Oliver Cromwell, who became the Lord Protector of England. So there was a period of 20 years when in England there was no ruler. That means there was no king or monarchy. And it became a place where a lot of bloodshed was taking place because people were fighting as there was no king who could keep everything on place. So this man, Thomas Hobbes, he was living at that time and he became a key defender of King Charles I. He supported the King Charles and he believed in absolute monarchy. His belief was that a proper governance can only happen if there is monarchy. And in a monarchy, the king must be supreme and whatever the king says, that must be followed by all the citizens of that country. Now in this particular audio, I shall be talking about his great work, Leviathan, but before that I would like to mention that Thomas Hobbes also translated Iliad and Odyssey. So keep in mind that he was a translator of Iliad and Odyssey, just like Alexander Pope. Now let's come and look at the work Leviathan, Leviathan, Leviathan. Leviathan. The other title of this work is Matter, Form and Power of Commonwealth. Matter, Form and Power of Commonwealth. So from the title itself you can see how he is talking about Commonwealth power. Commonwealth means a place in which there is a ruler who is ruling and all the people are abiding the rules made by the ruler. Okay. This work is directly opposed to Milton's defense of English people. Milton was living at the time of Thomas Hobbes and Milton wrote a work called Defense of English People. Leviathan is a work which directly opposes Milton's defense of English people, and Milton, as we know, was a Protestant. He believed in Oliver Cromwell and the ideas of Oliver Cromwell, whereas Thomas Hobbes was a supporter of Charles I. So you can see both of them were fighting from a different party. According to Thomas Hobbes, as he states in Leviathan, that the object of all government is common good. Okay, and he says two beautiful ideas in this work. Number one, he tells that man at core is a selfish creature. Every man is a selfish creature. According to him, if a man is not controlled, then he will be in constant war with other people. And he could see that because he was living at the time of civil war and he was seeing that the king went out of the country and there was so much bloodshed in the country. Everybody was at war. So his views were shaped during the civil war in what he saw and when he saw the beheading of the king. So he believed that man is at core a selfish creature. For example, we all ride bicycles or we all ride a car and we see that if there is no traffic light, then we all jump the signals, we'll cross the signals, okay, we'll not abide by the signals. Why? Because we are at core selfish creature. We will not follow the rules if we are not punished for the rules. And that is why in Leviathan, Thomas Hobbes states that man is a selfish creature, which leads us to the second idea of social contract theory. Thomas Hobbes is regarded as one of the most important philosophers because he presented us with a great philosophy of social contract theory. Now, what is this social contract theory? Social contract theory states that in a country, all the citizens, they give their authority to ruler, the king. So they give their authority, their powers to the ruler. And what they get in exchange? They get protection for their rights. For example, in India we have given certain powers to the Prime Minister and the President, to the Constitution. Okay, and in turn what the Constitution is giving us, it is giving us safety, it is ensuring that we will be getting good amenities, we are going to be protected against the fundamental rights if we follow the fundamental duties and if we abide the rules which are there written in the Constitution. So this is a social contract which is happening between the ruler and the citizens of the country. And in this social contract theory, he says that we need to blindly submit to the rulers. If we have given our views, if we have given our rights to the ruler, then we need to follow all the rules that the ruler makes. If a government makes any rule, for example, government made the rule that GST would be mandatory, the notes of 2000 would be used instead of 1000 rupees notes. So all these are the rules made by the Prime Minister and the President, and we are showing our submission to the rules. Okay, so according to him, a government can only run if all the people blindly submit to rulers. And Leviathan rigorously argues that civil peace and social unity are best achieved by the establishment of commonwealth. What is commonwealth? Commonwealth is ideal state in which we give our authority to the ruler and in exchange we get protection for our remaining rights. So according to Hobbes, ideal commonwealth is ruled by a sovereign power, a total power. The ruler, he is ruling in an ideal commonwealth and he is responsible for protecting the security of the people who are living in the commonwealth. And in this introduction to Leviathan, he describes the commonwealth as an artificial person, as a body politic that mimics the human body. Okay, so he's an artificial person. The king is a title, it's a title, right? King is an artificial person who is ruling on the behalf of all other people. Okay, just like in India we say Prime Minister is the first citizen and he is the representative of the people of India. So it's an artificial post. The Prime Minister can keep on changing. So it's a post. It's an artificial person. So according to Thomas Hobbes in Leviathan, ideal commonwealth is important for social unity and for civil peace. And it can only happen when there is a person who is solely responsible for protecting the security of all other people. Okay. Now, if you look at the views of Thomas Hobbes, you might find that he is a believer of divine rights of king. Remember when I was talking about the old English period, I mentioned divine rights of king. What is divine rights of king? Divine right of king says that a king is a representative of God on the earth. Okay, and therefore he has certain rights which are given to him by the God. Those are called divine rights. He can execute anybody, his decision would be final. All these are divine rights which are given to king because king is like God on the earth. Just like God is ruling the entire world, similarly king is ruling a country. That is why there are certain rights which cannot be taken from the king. Okay. Now he is a believer of divine rights but not a sole believer. He basically says that there are certain powers which the king needs to have in order to function correctly in a commonwealth. Okay, they are not divine rights but they are actually rights given by the people. Okay, so that the king can rule on their behalf. He also mentions one thing in Leviathan where he says that religion is the cause of all the discord. It is religion because of which everybody is fighting. Because remember in 1640 when this civil war happened, actually it was a war against the Catholics and Protestants. Catholics were on the side of the king and Protestants were on the side of the Lord Protector, who is Oliver Cromwell. Okay, so it is actually a fight of religion, and that is why Thomas Hobbes says that religion is the cause for discord. He believes that when a person believes in God, that leads kingdom into darkness. Whenever you start believing in God, that is going to lead you to darkness, because when you believe in God, you might have a contradictory opinion and then you will fight with other people. Okay. So that was Thomas Hobbes and his work Leviathan. Now let's look at a few questions that were asked from this particular section. In December 2004, there was a question: which of the following books proposes a political theory? Principia, Leviathan, Anatomy of Melancholy, and Liberty of Prophesying. The correct option is Leviathan. It talks about a political theory. In December 2012, there was a question: match the text with the respective themes. Okay, now if you look at the text Leviathan, written by Thomas Hobbes, the main theme is absolute sovereignty. Absolute sovereignty. In August 2016, there was a question: in Thomas Hobbes' grand metaphor in Leviathan, a commonwealth is like. So he compares commonwealth to an artificial man endued with a strength of many men. Okay, an artificial man is representation of commonwealth and it is imbued. That means it is filled with the strength of all the men. So basically king has all the powers of the people because in turn he is ruling the country and therefore he is having all the powers of the people, and by using those powers he is actually able to rule the country. So that's it.